here? Who's here? So, Remy, always first. But technically, since I'm here in the vaccines, I think by default I'm first. Hi, Matt. Hello, Wendy. How is everybody? Okay. So first comment. You're absolutely right. So it's Sunday, July 16th. How is everyone's summer doing? Because, we're in almost 1 month in summer, and stuff should be coming out of the garden, homesteading, meat, harvesting stuff in the wild. How's everyone doing with that? Everyone's saying hi to themselves. As people come in, if you're watching this on replay, hi. Yeah, 2 weeks of vacation, back to work tomorrow. It probably will be a rough morning tomorrow morning. I'll think of you. I'll send you coffee vibes. I was about to say that. Well, first of all, I just changed my earpods. I hope you guys are hearing me good enough. Since here it's raining, like I've never had so much rain. I'm not complaining, because that means I'm not watering the garden late at night till like 10, getting eaten alive Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday night. Because usually right after the live, I would run outside. Well, actually put the kids to bed, hope everything goes well, run outside 8 o'clock till 10, and water for 2 hours. But now, for at least 3-4 weeks now, I've had at least 1 or 2 heavy rains, not like tease rain, like deep rain, and I could fill 50 liter buckets like super fast. I'm harvesting rainwater to water my plants because I'm still not all planted and I have my fall garden. So I have rain, and then I have heat, and I have humidity. And because of all of that, and I did have a week of like 40 degrees Celsius, I neglected the garden that week because it was like high peaks and then wet, and then high peaks and then wet. So my garden right now is very sick. I have early blight. I've never had blight in July. So that means I'm like every couple of days I'm going in the tunnel in my tomatoes, cutting. Vine borers are here. I'm going to go beep, 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 replace those sounds with like swear words because I removed 30 eggs just on one plant. I was hoping, because I was putting them in a brand new place, that they would not find them. So vine borers, I found a lot of cocoons of vine borers as I was broad forking the garden, and I squashed them. Like, I was like, you little shit, you're not going to survive. And finding just one plant with over 30 eggs, and I already see damage. Some of them are bored inside a zucchini plant. So this week I'll have to take the executive decision to probably... at least my summer squash will go to the burn pile. And I sowed a row yesterday. Yeah, I sowed a row yesterday. Last day to sow some summer squash was yesterday. I have to sow some carrots also. Yesterday was the last day. So that means I have to include that in my to-do list of this week. Uh, so I found that. So I have a lot of sick stuff. I had a couple of cucumber plants dying on me because of the cucumber beetle. They are back with a revenge this year. And I found my first Japanese beetle on my raspberry patch. I was so irritated when I saw that. But anyways, it's part of gardening. That means I'll have to leave a bucket of soapy water next to my raspberry plants, and every time I see one, I'll just have to put it in there. What else did I see this week? I lost my entire lettuce harvest because of all the rain. There was earwigs in it. And as I was harvesting my lettuce, it was like all rotten from the inside, from the middle. So probably like all the variation of temperature, not being able to dry. And then the earwigs were in there. So that means I'll probably sow some lettuce seeds this week, direct sow. Because like I want to have salad in the cooler months, like September, October, November. And I've calculated that I had certain space for certain things in my raised beds. Turns out it's going to be a wild jungle. So it's not going as expected, as always, but I'm going to try to make the best of it. So, yeah, I saw that. That's something I will have to take an executive decision. I planted 10 rows of beans, bush beans. I'm questioning. So the 15th was also the last day for the beans, the bush beans. I'm questioning if I will sow beans, because if my calculations are right, I should have about 100 jars of 1 liter of beans. But if I do can 100 jars of 1 liter beans, I have to buy jars, which is not an issue because too many jars is not a problem because I will fill them. I will have to find space for those jars. And that means I will have 2 full years probably of green beans, or like 18 months. I know. 100 1 liter jars. Me and my friend Annie, we were like so pumped in the spring, sowing all of these things, and now this is where I go, certain things are not that great of an idea, because here in zone 5 it's garlic season. Harvesting, I have to have at least 2 days of sun, which is not happening anytime soon. So I have to harvest 400 bulbs, maybe like 375 bulbs of garlic, wash it, tie it up, string it up, cure it. Then green bean harvest season is now. So I probably harvested like 1 or 2 pints by now. Pints is 2 cups. So 4 cups, between 2 and 4 cups of green beans. So that means starting this week up till the end of August, I'll be deep in like over my head with green beans and yellow beans. So that's garlic, bush beans. And my husband sent me a ad of a liquidation center we have near our house that they were liquidating 50-pound bags of potatoes, russet potatoes. And I was like, interesting. So I got $8 a bag for 50 pounds. I would say there is between 5 to 8 pounds that is scrap per bag. So I bought 2 bags. I probably will can 80 pounds of potatoes. So, garlic, beans, potatoes, and at the end of the month is peach season. So I have no idea how I'm going to fit everything together. but I do hope it works. So last week, my live subject was like being overwhelmed and how I'm dealing with it. I try not to think too much of everything I have to do. I try like to divide and conquer. But there's days I'm like, what was I thinking trying to preserve 18 to 2 years of certain produce, because I'll have certain things coming out of my ears, other places, and I'll probably be like sick of seeing potatoes in a week. Tomatoes, same thing. Awesome. So I have Remy, the IT guy, and Remy Arsenault. Hi. Okay, so bugs. I was supposed to buy netting this year. Financially, I couldn't. Certain things came up. I was able to buy the netting for my cabbage. But I've tried something this year for my cabbages and my onions that seems to have worked fantastic. So usually at this time, I am invaded with eggs, moth, and stuff like that. So I have tried to add celery, dill, marigold, peas. What else did I try? Interplanted with my crop of cabbage family. And I haven't lost that much. And I also planted very early. So that means my plants were out April 30th. So right now, the bugs, I'm starting to see the cabbage moth. So I have two options. I harvest my broccoli or my heads of stuff earlier, so they're a bit smaller, so I don't have to manage too much of the pests. And since I don't have netting for my cabbage family, I would do diatomaceous earth. But because it's raining so much, every time it rains, you have to go back, but it can change the pH of your soil if you put too much. So I'm trying with the cabbage family to flip to the side of companion planting, because it would cost me a lot to buy a row cover. For my onions, in what else did I have a hard time? Onions, I had those little white flies that were bored inside of my onions and my garlic and my leeks. So I planted calendula, peppers, and leek together. My leeks are doing fine. I planted green onions with, I can't remember what, spinach and kale and all of that. That row is suffering a little bit, but not that much. And my regular onions, I said it in my video that I just got out. My last video was 2 ways that I use up chocolate mint, and I show that I have this beautiful patch of chamomile that volunteered, and I interplanted my onions with chamomile. And I'm not seeing that much bug damage. So for onions, leeks, and I have to search if I can plant chamomile with my garlic. I might interplant every allium onion family, leek, if I can plant it with garlic. So I will interplant with chamomile, because I do have more bug damage on my garlic than my onions. Also, I dedicated 3 feet by 15 feet long flower bed right in front of my in-ground garden so that I can attract beneficial insects. So also that could help. So this is what I do to manage the bugs. For my squash, cucumbers, and melons, I have 2 options. I can create a greenhouse that is net protected, closed up next year. That was the plan for this year, but I didn't have the chance to do it. So option number 1 is I do that. I set up a And I could actually start by planting my cabbages in there and then interplant it with stuff. And then once that's out, I plant my squashes, and I would have to hand pollinate my cucumbers, my zucchinis, and my squash and melons, and have a lower quantity of plants. So that's option number one. Option two is next year, no zucchinis, no melons, no cucumbers, no winter squash. I would have to prepare the plants and transplant them and calculate how many I would have to find bush varieties and plant them outside for July 1st or July 15th. So that means I would probably sacrifice summer squash next year, summer squash and winter squash next year, so that when the vine borers wake up around July, end of June, beginning of July, they're like, oh, there's no food here. I'm going to go somewhere else. And I probably would have to do that for at least 1 year. 2 years would be ideal, because I probably will have people, some of the population, stay here and buy my winter squash at the farm. So I also have a spray that I could do, peppermint oil spray on my leaves. But again, if it rains, I have to do it again. There is aluminum foil to protect my zucchinis and my winter squash, but it's so time consuming that I don't think I will. So I am inspected right now once a day, all my summer squash plants, if there's eggs, but my winter squash, I'm not, because I have a lot of volunteers that I let do its thing. So I have like this 15 feet by 3 feet, maybe 5 feet at certain places that it's like invaded with like 10 to 20 plants of interplanted with tomatoes, winter squash. I have no idea what they'll become. And I'll just deal with the plants at the end of the season. I'll make sure that they go in the burn pile. As for the last pest, it's the Japanese beetle. So I have a sacrificial crop that I will be adding in front of my house. So I will use raspberry babies, my bushes, my raspberry bush. It's like cocaine for them. So the first thing I'm going to put in front of my house is going to be a trap crop for them. Because right now it's like almost, I had like 4 or 5 garden beds before, in like the, not in-ground garden, but my raised bed gardens. And then I have a wall of 20 feet long of raspberries. So some of my garden can get impacted by it. So I have to either put rose bushes mixed with something else, or raspberries, sacrificial plants that I probably will not harvest from them. But I do leave a warm soapy water bucket next to my raspberry plants, and like when the sun is setting, I'm going outside, I'm just like popping these things in. And I forgot to say, for the cucumber beetles, I walk a couple of times a day the garden, and I just squish them manually, or like I could carry like a little vacuum and suck them in that vacuum. But it is frustrating. So cucumbers, I'm not giving up because we love it. So if I can get a 12 by 12 greenhouse with a box fan, I wouldn't mind paying a little bit more for seeds for melons that can grow into an environment that does not have big pollinators, only have small. I wouldn't mind, but I would need to have that enclosed area for me to deal with it. I hope that answers all your questions. Nice, not bad. I normally have 3 carcasses in a roaster. That gives me about 7 to 8 1-liter jars, which is awesome. Not sure why. Okay, we handle it by not handling. Okay, so I sometimes give up. This year, I probably will have to give up earlier than I normally do because I can't do it all. That's amazing. My first potato harvest was down too dry. Oh no, that sucks. So I replanted now lots of rain. So you're able to have back to back with your growing zone 2 potato harvests. By the way, hi Dave. Hello Tracy. So harvest 37, most of them. That's nice. That's a good size. Hello, 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 Marilyn. Um, I know. I think I saw like 5 cherries. So there is one thing you can do. I saw this. Where did I see this? I went blueberry picking, and I was seeing fields of like bush type trees that was covered. And I didn't understand why. And I spoke to the gentleman down, like, it's just so weird. Like, you have like covered, like, you have canopies over your trees. So he's like, yeah, because if we want to eat our fruits, we need to protect our trees. So I saw bird netting, a cage of bird netting around the blueberry field. And there was a cage netting on top of what I think was a cherry patch of like bush trees. So I bought 100 feet by 7 feet rolled deer friends. Um, that was very inexpensive. So I'm sure that you can find bird netting. You would have to play around a little bit to cover your tree, but it would help. I don't know what that is. Milky spore. What is milky spore? Is it a trap? Well, here's the thing. There is 2 mindsets for Japanese beetle. The first one is you put a trap crop, which is what I'm doing, and just killing it. The chickens love it, by the way. The second is to have a trap. So you put, I think it's hormones or pheromones or something like that, and they just like go in there and you kill them. But I've like read a couple of homesteaders that were giving their intake on it, and they prefer doing trap crops than the actual pheromones or hormones. I can't remember which one is it, because like you end up attracting them to your lawn, like to your house, instead of like the trap crop. It's just there in case they find your property and they're just going to stay there. And I find that since I was here, so this year in December is going to be 6 years, I find that the population keeps going down because I manage it this way. And I've never seen them cross my raspberry patch. So they've never been in my back garden. So thankful that they don't do damage. And that's why I want to do the raspberry hedge in front of the house. If I can interplant raspberry with wild roses, it would be nice because I can have rose hips and I would have maybe raspberries out of it. So as the title of this live is Q&A, You are entitled to pick my brain on gardening questions, homesteading questions, and I'll try to answer you to the best of my knowledge. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds interesting. So that means you can. Well, so it's like DE then. It's like diatomaceous earth. Like you put it on a crop that they would decimate and they would just die, right? Is that how it works? Oh, I did forget to say one thing. Earlier on, I was saying that I'll have my potatoes to process, my green beans, garlic. I forgot. I have 20 meat birds to harvest Monday, Tuesday of. So not tomorrow, the 24th. So the 24th, the 25th, and the 26th is harvesting, processing, and canning. So I am doing a either 12 hours rest or 12 to 24-hour rest this year in the fridge. And then we are on, well, I'm hoping that I had 20. I still have 20, so I'm hoping that I'll still have 20 when I harvest them. I'm not going to keep too much of whole chickens because they take a lot of space. I will cut them up. So that means I'll have like breasts, thighs, and I'll be pressure canning some of it, like pressure canning teriyaki chicken, chipotle chicken. There is gravy in a jar I want to try. There's a couple of different things that I want to try so that I can not have a full freezer because it's almost certain. It's almost certain. I'm still negotiating with my husband. He might go moose hunting. So that means I need space in my moose. So I have one big chest freezer, commercial size, well, for a house, commercial size. That is for my poultry, my beef, and my moose last year. And I am hoping that I can fit a quarter of a beef, a third of a moose, and my poultry. Uh okay, so if I'm completely transparent, some things are doing better, something are doing the same, but worse. Okay. Managing weeds is worse because of the temperature. Uh, I have diseases that I did not have as early, so that's worse. Will it impact my harvest and the quantity? Probably. Uh, I was not able to trellis my tomatoes as I wanted, so some of it is like going completely crazy. And I miscalculated certain things, and I can't really say it's worse, but it's complicating my life a little bit. So my rows are average 30 inches wide. So in the middle, I planted a tomato plant, and then on one side, because it creates shade, I planted either basil or lettuce, and then on the other side, I would plant bush beans. But everything is like super lush, super like looking better than last year. So I've done good things with my soil, so I'm happy with that. But I kind of lost my pathways. So there's certain places that there's no more pathways. Like I can't walk because like plants are like everywhere. But I can't really say it's worse because my plants are looking better. But it is, since everything is touching, I am experimenting like new things that I haven't. So I hope that answers your question. And one thing, I did not have time to maintain my raspberries. So I had 2 rows. Now I have only 1 row, which is a gigantic mess. But it's only because I wasn't able to get to that task. Same thing, my strawberry patch, I wasn't able to take care of it because of my finger was squashed. Like I decided to rest, so I lost my raspberries this year. I lost control of weeds on 3 of my garden beds of strawberries. So I was not able to harvest strawberries from there. Hello, Rebecca. Uh Probably beans because I decided I was going to be an overachiever. But peas also. So last year, peas, my kids would like eat it and I wasn't able to preserve it. And this year, I planted 3 or 4 times more rows of peas and my kids are not eating it. So probably peas and beans. But since I want to can 18 months of certain things, having too much in quantities of some stuff will be good for me. Because that means next year I probably will only like grow. Let's just say that I'm able to store 100 jars of green beans this winter. That means next year I can only maybe grow maybe 1 or 2 rows, and it's easier to maintain. It's a spore that you spread on your lawn and garden. Oh, okay. Fun. Yeah, that would be definitely awesome. Definitely. So all we need to figure out is how much the license costs and how much. I know how much his license to actually be able to hunt is like $60. And then he needs to change something on his crossbow. And he needs to buy because now he only has practice. What do you call it? Not the bow, the arrows. So he only has practice arrows. So he needs to buy the tips for hunting. I've been doing that, and I'm actually canning way earlier than I would normally do. No, we can go hunting with crossbow. The 2 other gentlemen that he's going to hunt with hunt moose with a crossbow. Where was I going? Okay, so tonight I'm taking out chickens probably out of my freezer, 3 of them, and I'll be either canning chicken and broth so that I can have chicken soup ready. So I could take 1 can of, it's almost a half a chicken or three quarter of a half a chicken in 1 liter jars, and then it's going to create its own broth. I can take out a can of 500 mLs of carrots, just like mix everything that up, add noodles, leftover noodles, and I'll be able to create a chicken noodle soup. How now when you say you have a disease? I'm not me. My garden. No, he does not want to have a gun. He maybe after his experience, he'll change his mind. But for now, he feels more secure having that. Did I miss anything? Oh, there is one thing. There's certain things that I have to let go every year, and I can't keep up with raspberry. So every couple of days, I tell my kids, like, you're hungry? Go eat raspberries, because I can't pick them. and there's I have way too much chamomile. I'm not able to harvest all the chamomile. So I'm telling people, I went to a friend, my video I made of homemade jewelry. Every time I go see her, I bring her stuff from the garden, and I brought chamomile, a cup of chamomile that I dehydrated from the garden. And she's like, "Oh my god, I want some." I'm like, "Okay, so all you have to do is bring a bowl, tell me you're coming, and you go harvest how much you want, because I can't keep up with my chamomile." So I'll have two problems. Well, one is not a problem, because that means at the end of the season, the seeds will fall in the ground, and then I'll probably have like thousands upon thousands of plants of chamomile next year, and I'll be able to interplant them between, if I can, garlic, leek, onions, and relocate them all over the garden. And I'll probably at the end of the season have like 2 times what I harvested last year, which is almost 3 quarts of dehydrated flowers. Uh, mm, 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 mm. I don't know. I don't know. So he's never been hunting. Maybe as a boy, but like as a man, he's never been. Hello, Cindy. Oh, rabbit's supposed to like chamomile. I planted it for them and did not give them. um, that's a hard one. I planted cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, beets. I will be planting carrots, sowing carrots. But I am tempted, well, since you're here, I'm going to pick your brain too. I am tempted to try to use the 3/4 inch soil blockers. And I have purchased Bolero. I think it's Bolero. Yeah, I think it's Bolero. So I bought Peloton Bolero carrots. So I am tempted to sow my carrots with little mini 3/4 inch soil blockers, and then they'll just transplant them I think it's, if you want storage carrots, I think it's 3-4 inch apart. If it's summer carrots, I think it's 2 inch apart. Anyways, so I might do that. For the greenhouse, I don't know. There is one thing I want to try. I'm keeping suckers from tomato plants. I'm actually got expired by Dave. He said that he was able to have tomatoes up till November. So I'm keeping some suckers to root and to transplant them in the greenhouse where my peppers are. I don't know if I will be able to physically, mentally, and emotionally be able to maintain a greenhouse garden this year. I don't know. That question I still haven't answered. The roof is still not installed on my greenhouse. So I have a tunnel that has no roof at the moment, which is great because every time it rains, it rains on my soil, which is good. Because this year I was supposed to install a DIY drip system in the greenhouse, but like everything happened all at the same time. I wasn't able to install it, so it's kind of a win-win. But definitely there will be a roof for the winter, for sure. No, I did not. I did not. So I would like to have 50 pounds of carrots. So 50 pounds, I think it's that. Is it that? So counting Carrots. USDA. So 50 pounds yields about 20 quarts. Yeah, I would love to have 50 pounds of carrots. But the easy thing, I could just go to the farm and buy 50 pounds of seconds and just can that. But I did buy pelleted seeds. I do have grow bags, but they're all used right now. So I have 25-gallon bags, grow bags. Right now it is mixed with cucumbers, eggplants, peppers. If they weren't planted, I could have just used that. I'll have to remember that next year. That I could use my 10 grow bags just for carrots, because my grow bags are at least 15-inch tall. Yeah, it does dry faster. But they would be outside on my I have like a table outside, and I have like right next to my table, I have like about 100 liters of water, collected rainwater, that I just, my Wi-Fi is going crazy. So if I cut, I'll be back. Um, if I see that my things are dried up, well, then I just use that and I put it there. But it's raining so much that I would be scared to direct sow carrots right now. I hope I said hi, Cindy. What type of buckets are they using? Because I'm guessing that 50 pounds of carrots would probably have to be. I just dug up 3 rows of 15 feet long in a 24, like my bed is about 24 inches wide, and it was about 15, 16 pounds of beets. I was thinking to plant 3 rows of carrots there, and I was hoping to have 50 pounds of carrots with that. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, carrots have definitely not been a good year. But my beets are looking great. So they've loosened up the soil. So I would just have to get some 2-3 bags of compost and just like remove all the weeds, and then just hope for the best. But I have to plant carrots definitely this week. In Bolero is it is said that it's a conservation. So I don't know how to say that in English. Like, it conserves well for the winter. So let's go like this. So carrots, Bolero. I think it's Bolero. Okay, so these well-bred new net carrots have a slender 6-7 inch long, perfectly cylindrical shape with blunt tip. Bolero is a beautiful deep orange with consistency, sweet flavor, and juicy brittle texture. Perfect to harvest either full size or slim. So I'm going to have to figure out when I'm going to be able to plant them. Because last time I sowed so much, I tried the cornstarch I wanted to do it again this fall, but I think I'm just going to sow my bolero and try maybe 1 or 2 rows of colorful mixed carrots and maybe 1 or 2 rows with sand. But I don't know where we'll plant them. That's another logistics, because when the garlic is gone, I have 1, 2, 3 rows. Question: what did you begin to DIY and did not continue for lack of God? Where do I start? Water kefir is something I put it in the fridge. So when I feel like doing water, I feed it occasionally a couple of times a year because I'm not using it. And I take it out. Let's just say that I want to do water kefir today or for this week. So I'm going to take it out of the fridge. I'm going to dump the water, filtrate, and then I'm going to do cane sugar feeding or molasses. I think you can do it with molasses. And then I'm going to put it back in the fridge, and then I'm going to take it out the next day and do water kefir. I am doing that also for sourdough. I'm taking it out right now maybe once a month, doing a couple of recipes, and then putting back in the fridge so that I can keep it alive. I don't think I'll be doing bread in the month of July with sourdough. Because with everything I have going on, I have no idea how I'm going to be able to manage that. So this is how I'm putting it on the back burner, but keeping it alive. I do have a request for a video for my French baguette. So if I have time, I will do that. I did find also another recipe online that I want to show to you guys, unless I'm going to wait that it keeps quiet. And I'm going to do maybe a dough, all my doughs, maybe do like a series and do it later on in the year. But I do have a couple of dough recipes that I want to share with you guys. So DIY projects. So my food forest, I don't know if you can consider that a DIY project, is on hold right now. Lack of time. We were supposed to do upgrades on the chicken coop. So we want to cover the entire roof. So we want a roof over the heads of our chicken coop, because we add either pine shavings or hay or whatever, and at the end of the season we remove everything, take it out of the chicken yard, we compost it, and then I put it in my raised bed the year after. But it's raining so much right now that I have to buy a lot of pine shavings and a lot of hay. And like right now, I probably have, no joke, at least 12 inches of stuff that I need to dig out. But because it's so wet, I can't take it out. So by putting a roof over the chicken yard, it's going to make our life easier, keep it dry so that it's somewhat manageable. But now it's so disgusting. We can't, I'm adding like layers and layers and layers and layers. But at one point, what will happen is that the chickens, instead of having a fence of 5 feet, they'll have they have a fence of like 3 feet, and they'll be able to jump over it, and then I'll have another problem. So that's another thing that's on the back burner. The roof of my greenhouse, lack of time. What else? I was supposed to modify the in-ground garden fence because it got damaged in the ice storm. Couldn't do it. Probably will be next spring. We had to put down 2 trees in the spring. We were only able to bring down 1 because it was in the garden. We had no choice. And then there's another one that we'll probably have to bring down in the fall or in the other spring. We were supposed to build a greenhouse for my seedlings. It's probably never going to happen because we lack time. So the list of it goes on and on and on. It's not because I don't want it. It's not because It's just I'm only one person and my husband can only give me so much of his time. Hello, Lee. Trying to think, is there something else? Oh, DIY project, renovations. Does that count? Home renovations? That's on the back burner for like forever. My kitchen has been on the back burner for like 3 years. But there is one project that we will have no choice but to do in my husband's vacation. So he has one full week that he works, and then on Friday of like upcoming week, he's going to be off for at least 2 weeks, I think. So I have to pick his brain so that he can build me either temporary or non-temporary, I don't care, shelves so that I can store my jars because I'm already running out of space and I haven't canned anything. Well, I started canning, but today I visited awesome people from Ontario that just recently moved in here. Nice. You filmed, right? So Tracy, if you're still here, remember you were entitled to pick my brain for I think it was 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So if you want to ask certain of your questions, I can answer them tonight if you want. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, you used your new camera. You were courageous enough to buy a new device, a new toy. So Lee, if you have questions for me, gardening, homesteading, if I can answer them to the best of my knowledge, I'll answer you. That's so fun. I never have anyone filming me. Well, I probably would be super shy. Although I look stupid, I am talking to myself on a phone. And if people are watching me, I look stupid. But anyways. Oh no! That sucks. Well, you still have time. Just reading comments to make sure that I didn't forget anyone. Mm-hmm. Big Blue Farmhouse. They're on Instagram and Facebook. Amazing couple, and Michelle was a natural in front of the screen. Awesome. So you went wink wink YouTube. I'm gonna go check them out on Instagram. So Big Blue, where is it? Big Farmhouse counts. Okay, so is it them? Oh, that's not what I want. Is it? Let's try to do this. Is it this? It says microgreens farmer, and okay, so yeah, I think it's that. Oh, it's so cool. Their house is their logo. That's so cool. I'll go check them out. So Big Blue Farmhouse. Okay, awesome. So today I'll be leaving about 7:15 because I have a husband that is not feeling very well. He's been off for like a couple of days. So I don't want to torch him too much with the kids. It might be a full moon soon because my kids today and yesterday, they were more intense than usual. So is it a full moon soon? Or is it because we're feeling a little bit off and they're like, ooh, my parents are feeling off, so we have to be little rascals. They're radish harvest. Okay, so I just no, the last picture I'm seeing is a salad. Do I have more questions? Sorry. I can ask you one while you guys, I know there's a little delay. So, what will be the first harvest of stuff you will preserve? So, I know Remy just harvested some chickens and he will be uh, pressure canning the broth. So, that was his first. But what will be yours? Like, what will be your first big produce harvest, and how will you preserve it, and what will it be? I've been preserving little stuff at the moment. Beets has been my biggest harvest. At this point, I think I'm close to 19 or 18 pounds of beets from my garden. Gave me 24 500 ml jars. So I'm so excited. I am hoping that my fall crop gives me twice that, so that I can do 9, 10 1-liter jars. Peas. This year I'm so mad. Like, I could have dedicated other crops to my peas rows. Now it's mainly my rabbit that eat my peas, my snow peas, and all that, because my kids don't eat it. Like, I bring it inside the house and I cook it in butter and garlic, and normally we would eat it, and now we don't. But then in the winter, they want me to buy the big bag of peas, snow peas, at Costco. Same thing with salad. They wanted salad all winter long, and I decided I was not going to buy it because I refused to pay $9 for a bag of salad. And now that I have never-ending supplies of lettuce, they don't want to eat it. Awesome, Hascap. I can't wait to plant my Hascap. My food forest probably will be a autumn thing. Right now, I am doing like as a lasagna style raised bed. So my first L raised bed is built, and I'm just layering stuff in it so that I don't spend that much money on soil. So it's only going to be maybe like the 6 last inches. I'm going to buy some soil instead of 12 inches. So I may be at 4 inches right now, and we're adding stuff so that I can compost. And I probably will transplant everything end of August, September. So I probably won't have that much for my food forest this year. Hello, Shotam. Good night. I'm going away for a few days. When I get back, beans pickled. Awesome. Black raspberries. I've been harvesting black raspberries. I've been freezing them. I am hoping to do two things. So, well, it's going to be mixed, because so I'm freezing all of my raspberries all together, but I'm hoping to do a liqueur out of it and a jam. So, and then maybe have some leftover in the freezer. I doubt it, because it's going to take, I'm going to do a jelly. I'm going to remove all the seeds out of the raspberries. That would be fun. So I don't know. I'm gonna go get some Hascap from Annie. Annie from Mama Homemade. She bought a bulk order of plants, and 5 Hascaps in there are for me. So I have to check which one's which one are earlier, mid, and late season. And that's something I would really want to have: early bloomers, mid-season bloomers, and late season, so that all throughout the season I can have either snacks or stuff to preserve. So I have 4 plants right now of Hascaps, and there will be 5 more coming. And then once they are established, I am hoping to propagate them. So garlic scape for me this year, I wanted to do funky stuff. I wasn't able to do it. So I did pesto, dehydrated some and mixed them with high quality salt. So for garlic scape, powdered salt. So I have my pesto. I froze it this year in little ice cube trays, and I just dump it in certain recipes that requires garlic. And I froze one batch, and I'm hoping to do, like, next time that I see a deal of butter, I would like to do a scape butter and then freeze it. And I wanted to pickle some this year or ferment, but I didn't get there. But I did sacrifice 2/3 or 1/3 cup. Is it 2/3 cups or 1/3? Anyways, I did sacrifice a little bit of that pesto that I did, and I added some Dijon. So I have now a Dijon garlic scape pesto thing going on, and my dad says it's just divine. So I just let it steep a little bit. I will be able to, as soon as my barbecue's fixed, I will be able to try that on my next burger. Okay, so garlic scape is exactly like garlic. So it tastes like garlic, but it's just green. So you can cut it into little pieces, dehydrate it, and powder it for powdered scape. You can do, like I said, reduce it to powder, add salt, and then mix everything together, and it comes like this powdery, salty garlic powder. You can chop it up in butter and do garlic scape butter and put it on baguettes, and then add Parmesan. I add it in my broth. I had some that I forgot in the fridge that was like a little bit like not its prime. So I used it in the broth I was doing. You can pickle it, you can ferment it, do pesto. There's so many things you could do with scapes. Yeah, that's a good idea. There's a lot of people. I have one 250 ml jar in my fridge. Normally, stuff that you mix with olive oil lasts, I think it's 3 weeks. So I'll normally keep a 500 ml jar, 250 ml jar, and the rest I freeze it so that there's one recipe that I love to do. I pressure can cube pork, and then I reheat it with, so I take one little cube of pesto that I frozen, and then I mix the pork, the cube pork, with it, and some Asian greens and some carrots, zucchini, any fried vegetable that I have, and then I mix in egg noodles in there. It's just so good. So garlic is very good. So if I think since I probably will be the next one sick, I think I'm gonna chew on a couple of cloves of garlic tonight because it's very good if ever you're feeling under the weather. Because my son has something, Philip has something, my husband starts to have something, and I can feel it in my throat. I don't know if it's because we've been running air conditioning nonstop for 3 weeks. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's allergy season. I don't know. It's because it's hot, warm, cold, super humid, heat, and all of that. But I think I'm going to eat a garlic clove tonight so that I don't get sick. I can't afford to be sick. Like mid-July up till November is my height peak season. There's nights that I was canning till like 10, 11 o'clock at night last year. Remember, if you're freezing something, I think I said this on one of my videos. If you're freezing in mason jars, there are some jars you cannot freeze with. So wide mouth jars are very good for freezing. So the little jelly jars, 250, 125, are perfect for freezing. You just need to leave a good headspace and so that the jar doesn't crack. If you use the regular mouth jars, I've never frozen in those, but it's not suggested. So the wide mouth jars are better for freezing stuff. Hello, Ren's Homestead. I don't know if it's Lindsay or Jack. I don't have Nightbot. I'm guessing it was Jack, but I was just letting him time to let me figure it out. Have we figured out who was the watermelon guy? Have we figured it out? I haven't. The person was present on I think last week's live or the week before that. So is Jack and Lindsay here? I'm trying to think of cool things I wanted to do this year with Scape that I wasn't able to do. So that's also another thing, Marilyn, I wasn't able to do on, well, it is DIY projects, garlic scapes. I wasn't able to do all the recipes I wanted. There is one recipe that Mama Homemade sent me. It is where it is. It is a, where'd it go? Potato garlic scape soup. So you need olive oil, 1.5 cups of garlic scape roughly sliced, sweet onions, 4 cups of white potatoes diced, salt, black pepper, vegetable stock, a quarter cup of sour cream or plain yogurt, some herbs, dill or chives, and this is what it looks like. Let me try to, I don't know if you can see it. That's one of the recipes I wanted to do. So probably what's left in my freezer, I'll do a butter and that soup. I think so. That is awesome. Yeah, there is a channel named Watermelon something. Can't remember the full name. Was commenting on one of my lives. I did vegetable stock with leftover frozen vegetables I had. So I did some pickled asparagus in pressure can asparagus. So I was left with the stems of the asparagus. So I put asparagus, carrots, celery. I had some frozen onions. I put garlic scapes in that. Water, salt, pepper, herbs, fresh herbs from the garden. And I cooked that in my roaster. And that was my vegetable stock. I have pink borage flowering in my food forest. Woohoo! But I didn't send you pink. I sent you white. So I don't know how you got pink. Unless someone sent me wrong seeds. I do. I cannot have cats. I'm allergic to cats. My eyes don't agree with them. But I do have two dogs. So I have Theo, which is a 7-year-old Yorkshire. And we bought Luna in February of this year. She's a mixed breed husky, with probably bred with like cattle or a work dog, German Shepherd, maybe Collie, Border Collie. We don't know. So we're gonna do probably by the end of the year a DNA test to find out what breed Luna is. Theo is a cuddle dog. He's about this big, like it's about 7 pounds this big. He's like so small. And Luna, December, she's about 8 months old. And she's 30 pounds. So we have like small, big dog. Doesn't make, sometimes, they fight. So it's, if ever, Theo is a purebred dog. So they probably, I think Yorkshire lives between 12 to 17 years, depending, of the dog. Since Luna is so used of having a buddy, we will have to think if we want to get another big dog, because Luna takes a lot of space. So we don't know. So Theo's definitely not the companion Luna would want. Like, Luna wants to play with him, and he's like, what do you want? He's an old puppy. Well, he's 7, so he's an old soul. So he only barks at her, bites her. It's like a soap opera, those two. Okay. It's from the seeds I sent you, right? So I purchased white borage from Baker Creek, and a friend of mine gave me a plant of blue borage. And I remember seeing somewhere pink, but I can't remember. No. Breed. A breed of cattle dogs. No, I would not breed. I would not intermix cattle with Luna. That's something we have to make a decision. Luna will be a lady soon. We need to make up our mind if we give her the opportunity of being a mom or not. I don't know if I want to go down that path. I have no idea. Okay, so I know that I sent you white, and I know that Maria sent you blue. But if she sent her personal seeds, they could have crossbred with another board she had and created this beautiful pink color. Or my white could have been mixed up also. Yeah, cattle dog makes more sense. So she has like Luna has like that long nose of like Lassie dog. But when I Google search image, they give me like so many weird names. So I will have to do a DNA test to know, like to have a better idea, because training wise, I am told that if she is a work dog, so either German Shepherd or any type of Shepherd or cattle dog, they need to work. So I'll have to rearrange a little bit her training around that. But she's doing so well. Other than walking and barking, my little Theo dog, Yorkshire, keeps barking all the time, taught Luna how to bark. So walking with her is a challenge. Every time she sees kids, if they're loud, if they're chaotic, she wants to do something. That's probably why I think she is either a cattle dog or a Aussie mix or something, because I feel that she wants to bring peace. She wants to bring them in line. So when I go, I have to go at hours where there's no kids playing outside, not counting that there's squirrels. She loves to run after squirrels, birds, flies. She hunts flies inside of the house. It's so funny. She bashes her head in the corner of a window like a million times per day, trying to find, or I don't know if you can call this hunt, flies in the house, and she's successful. So she hunts flies inside of the house, which is so funny. Like you can see her, like she's like pouncing at them, and sometimes she hits her head. But you would think she would stop, but she still hunts flies in the house, which is good because being on a farm and having animals, we have our fair share of flies. Yeah. But I can't hear. I'm not allowed. So my husband was chit-chatting with I think it was someone in the area that was renting land, 1 acre per year. So he's like, oh, we should build a semi-permanent barn and have like this and that and this and that and this and that. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm only one person. There's so much I can do in one day. So he wanted to have those miniature dairy breed goats. I can't remember the name of them. Hello, Norwegian homestead. Greetings from Norway. I can't remember. Nigerian dwarfs. He's like, we can have like 2 females and bred it and like harvest the males and all that. Like, you're getting all excited because I don't have time to maintain my own land. What makes you think I would be able to add a dairy animal? It would be more than one, because it's like chickens, you need at least 2. So but unless Fred is part-time or full-time on the homestead with me, there is no way that I'm getting a dairy animal. There's no way. Because the logistics of running a homestead practically on your own and adding more animals, there's days like I'm pulling out my hair. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Are you guys getting a cow? You have pigs now. You have all those birds. You have pigeons. You have pheasants. You have ducks, chickens. No, you have chickens. What else am I missing? Are you guys getting a cow? Here's my last question to you guys, since we're talking about cattle. So if it was not a question of space, because like I have to be realistic, I live on 15,000 square feet. So my house is on that. Our cars, my husband's truck is on it. He has a flatbed, so it takes a lot of space. So we have a 4 parking spot. And then the house is like pretty big. We have the shed, we have the chickens, we have the garden, and like practically every single space of the land is used up. Let's just say that I did not have city laws. I was in the boons. I was living on a third of an acre. It would be realistically not feasible to have a cow here. Maybe Nigerian dwarf goats would be possible. Yeah, it would be possible probably, but I would have to supplement. They would not be only grass-fed. Oh, thank you, Remy. That's so sweet. Yeah, we eat so much dairy here. So cheese, milk, cream, butter, yogurt, sour cream, cottage cheese. So I went on the trend of cottage cheese. I made some ranch dip with cottage cheese. It was delicious. I made some ice cream. I made something else with cottage cheese. So I've added now cottage cheese in our diet. I'm probably missing out on so many things. I would definitely be able to have a cow, but like it would be a logistic nightmare for me because you need more than one. So there is one breed, but it's not very popular in Canada, which is a mini Jersey. So it gives you all the benefits of having a milk animal, a dairy animal, but with half of the size. I think it's like almost half, maybe a little bit bigger than half the size and half the milk, so less to manage. Okay, so you have chickens, homing pigeons, pigs, turkeys, and ducks right now. Pausing on game birds and geese for now. Would you have a cow? I just put a big spoon with a bowl of fruit. I'm starting to get used to cottage cheese. Like, I didn't think that you can like whip it up and create like not have like those lumps. Those lumps were like not very tasteful for me. Are you saying that for the mini Jersey? Take care, Tracy. Do you intend on butchering the pigs yourself? So I'm guessing this is for Jack. While you can change the amount of space you have, there is only 20. Yeah, that's the thing. So let's just say that I'm able to get access to land, have a lease for a year, and find the time to build a barn, or maybe there is a barn on it, and have animals there. I still have only 6 hours of free time per day. That's it. So 6 to 8 hours. Other than that, like, I have to work around my kids' schedule, and there's only like 6 to 8 hours a day that I can work. A normal work day on a homestead with kids, as a wife, as a stay-at-home mom, with 3 young kids, I have to clean the house, maintain a house, cook, clean, dishes, and like, there's so many things that you have to do in a day that within those 6 hours, I run like a chicken with no head sometimes, and I go to bed so late some days. So yeah, when my husband said that, I'm like, okay, so since you leave so early in the morning, so that means you're gonna go and you're gonna take care of the morning milking. And he's like, no, I'm not. You're home. You go. I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing that. So unless you're part-time at home or full-time at home with like some income from the homestead so that we can maintain paying our bills, there is no way that I'm getting a dairy animal. Or the only thing I would do is rent the land and make something with my dad, because my dad wants to grow a lot of garlic. So I could do that. Flour, garlic, what Jack and Lindsay is doing, pick your own, pumpkin patch, maybe do that. But renting land to have dairy animals, no. It would be ridiculous, like ludicrous for me to do, like, just to do that. We've considered Highland cows might arrive there at some point, but sheep cover the same purpose for us pretty much, and we can buy several times more. Okay. So do you guys buy lambs and then harvest them? Or do you guys breed the lambs and harvest the babies? With a few cows, it's a huge loss to lose a single. Yeah. I followed so many homesteaders before, like, I was like, maybe like 3 years ago when I had less produce to manage. Lose a cow. It's devastating. Like, venison for dinner. She has so many cows. I think she lost one or two. Art and Brie lost at least one cow. In the devastation of like having to put down your animal because it broke its 2 legs, or because of so many other reasons, it's like you're dependent of that, because like you've purchased a cow, you've purchased fencing and like investing time, and by the time you like it's so much, you invested so much time and energy and money on that dairy animal, that when you lose it, it's like, it must be devastating. Well, send most of them to the butcher. We'll likely butcher a couple ourselves and a couple to the provincially inspected butcher so we can sell pork. Okay. We'll try to bring in breeding stock next year and then raise out the lambs. Awesome. We'll cut your grass also. If I'm not gone hunting, I can find a place to crash. I would definitely go help you. I know. Is it for me that you said that, or it's for Jack and Lindsay? There is there is an Icelandic farm in Rimouski, Quebec, and they win prizes after prizes in their genetics. I don't know if they sell live animals though. Interesting. That's what I thought. That's what I thought because you're like 16 hours away from me. I know. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It is 7:30, so guys, if you want I can do another Q&A this summer. I know it's a very popular thing because like there's not a lot of information out there, and if you're able to pick someone's brain, it is super fun. So thank you everyone for popping in. I can tell you I have one video ready for you guys, and it's a canning video. I am seeing that you guys really, really enjoy my canning videos. It is canning season, so I'm going to try to show you as much as I can my canning videos so that you can have a good idea of what I'm doing. There are a couple of really good breeders in Quebec. Might be the same place. I'm thinking registered stock would be great to get so I can sell some breeding. Awesome. That's good. So that's what's coming. I am making a list of future videos I am working on. So one of them being a garden tour. I am almost on top of weeding, so that's probably what I will film this week between canning sessions. So that's what's coming for you guys this week. And I wish you have a fantastic week, and thank you for popping in. Bye. And thanks again, Remy, for the wonderful gift. Night all.